Hi, and welcome to Classic Advice. My name is Scarlett Classic. I am your host. This is my podcast all about my advice that I'd like to share with you. I also have co-hosts on, and they bring their own unique experience and expertise to the show, which is awesome. So I'm so happy that you decided to join, and let's dive right into the episode. The dangers of getting swept up in comparison. Oh, we are all guilty of this. I know that. Right? Yeah. Comparison. Comparing yourself or your life with others. We all do it. We're all guilty of it. It can go one of two ways. It can be something that can trigger envy, or it can trigger happiness and positive emotions. But when you're constantly focused on, say, your friend has that and the other thing, or they're doing really well, or they have an awesome job, or they have an amazing family, or it seems like they've got everything together, right? And you're comparing their life and what they have to what you have, and you're not happy. It definitely doesn't trigger happiness or gratitude when you're constantly focused on the things that you don't have. And social media, I think we all know this in our core, but it does us good sometimes to just hear it again, that social media is not a true representation of people's lives, because it only highlights the things that they want to highlight. They're choosing and picking the moments of their life that they want to put on display. So of course, when you look on social media and you see all these amazing, oh look, so-and-so went on a road trip. Oh look, so-and-so just bought a house. Oh look, so-and-so just went boating. Oh look, so-and-so went on a cruise. This person took their family to Europe. This person took their family to Disneyland. And you've managed to do one trip this year. And you're comparing yourself to all of those people. But it's not a true representation. You don't have a window to everything in their lives. You only have the pieces that they want you to see. How do you feel afterwards? Because when I compare myself, I'm not normally uplifted, because it points out all the things in myself that I either don't like or I wish would be different, or what I don't have. From my point of view, there is two different types of comparison. One is upward, one is downward. So what's the upward? So upward is comparing to others that are perceived to be better off. I'm going to repeat that because it's really important you heard the words that I used. Upward is comparing to those perceived to be better off. So, for example, I have my dear buddy Dave over in Eastern Canada. Hi, Dave. I know you're listening. And he has been podcasting for a long time. He's my mentor. He's my friend. He's my coach. He's awesome. But he is doing he has way more, his podcast is huge. He's in every single country except North Korea. So everybody, give a round of applause to Dave, because he's doing absolutely fantastic. There's two ways that you could look at that. You could look at that with envy and jealousy. You could look at that and be inspired and wow and amazed and happy for him, which I am, because it's like I feel so incredibly blessed that he is in my life and he's my friend and my coach and all those other things. And it gives me the encouragement that yes, it can be done, because he's done it. So that's upward. looking to someone that is, I don't want to say above you, but looking upward. People that are ahead of you in life. Okay, the second one is downward comparison. So those perceived to be worse off. Now, there's two kind of different ways that people can go about this. When they do that, they can like look down to people, be very condescending, being like, oh, I'm better than you because look where I am. I have all my stuff together, which nobody has all their stuff together. So just keep that in mind. Or the other way that you can look downwards is, wow, I'm so grateful for everything that I have. I used to live in Eastern Europe, and I know what it's like to live poor and have nothing. And I know what it's like to live now when all my basic needs are covered and good. I typically don't have a problem practicing gratitude because I've experienced having nothing. Because for me, as long as I have food in my belly, a roof over my head, and clothes on my back, I don't care if they're Prada clothes or, I don't know, does Prada make clothes? I'm assuming they do. Because I don't buy, I don't mind that my house is old. It's sturdy. It does the job. It keeps me warm in the wintertime. It keeps me, well, we just had like a heat wave. So yeah, we don't have AC, so it doesn't necessarily keep me cool, but it keeps me out of the storm. We just had a big storm pass through. So I'm sheltered. It's good. And I've got food in my belly. I went 2 weeks without having any food once. Not because I was fasting and I chose it. It was because I literally had no money to buy food. So when you look down, for me, it fills me with gratitude for the things that I have. Do I drive a Ferrari? No, I don't even want a Ferrari. I drive a 93 Dynasty car. It's pale blue. It's got like, it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but it gets me from point A to point B. And that's what matters right now. I have a truck that I call Princess because I baby that thing because I don't want anything bad to happen to it because I love it so much. I don't drive it very much because of fuel prices, but I love my Princess truck. And it's a 98 Dodge 1-ton V10. I love that thing. I love it. I am so incredibly grateful for that truck and my car. I love them. My house definitely needs to have some renovations done to it. I'd like to do some more painting on the interior and spruce it up a bit, but it's good. Like, the yard is amazing. And I'm so incredibly grateful for what I have. Next is, why are comparisons often unfair and inaccurate? For one, is incomplete information about other people's lives. The fact of the matter remains is that you don't know what goes on behind closed doors. You don't know. Okay, maybe they have a fancy new truck and a brand new house and a boat, but maybe they're in debt up to their ears and they're so stressed about money all the time. You don't really know. Maybe they look like they have it all together, but behind closed doors, they fight all the time. Or there could be a million things that go on behind closed doors that you just don't know about. So you don't have all the information. Also, different starting points and circumstances. Really great example of this is me and my good buddy Dave Campbell. I have a podcast. He has a podcast. JJ has a podcast. I could go on. I have a lot of podcasting friends. Hi, guys. We could all compare and do that with each other, but it really wouldn't be fair to any of us, would it? Because we've all started at a different time. We all have different things going on other than just podcasting. It's just not fair for JJ to compare myself to me, or me to compare myself to JJ's, or to Dave's, or to Gary's, or to what, I could go on and on and on. But no, because I am not JJ. JJ is not me. I am not Sin. Sin is not me. It just would not be fair to any of us to go down that road. And on that note is that we all have unique strengths and challenges. We all bring different things to the table, and we all have different things going on in our lives all the time. Understanding this concept of compare and despair, I think, is important to understand. So let me explain this. It's like the cycle of negativity or negative thinking. Tying your self-worth to doing better than your friend, or having X amount of likes or X amount of listens on your podcast, or having so many people buy your book, or I could go on and on and on, but having your self-worth tied to something like that. Compare and despair, man. Don't do that. It's not fair to you. Next, I'm going to give you some strategies to break the cycle of comparing. Is one, I've already described this and touched on it, is practice gratitude and self-appreciation. When you find yourself in that cycle of comparing yourself, or that thought pattern of comparing yourself to your friend or your coworker or whoever, try to stop yourself, and then I want you to list off 5 things that you're grateful for and 5 things that you appreciate about yourself. The other thing is setting some personal goals. If you find yourself comparing because you want something, what do you have to do to go get it? If you want a bigger, better house or a better car, start saving. Even if it's $5 a day. $5 a day will eventually turn into, 2 days, that's $10. You've doubled your income, your savings, then turns into 15, 20, 25. Which sounds like small potatoes at first, but it will eventually grow. Just like my book, I type a little bit in it. I've been really busy lately, so it hasn't been every day, but I type a little bit in it, and a little bit turns into a little bit more, turns into a little bit more, into a chapter's done. And then another chapter will be done, and then eventually all the chapters will be done, and I'll be done. The other thing is limit your social media. If you find yourself comparing yourself to others more when you're on, say, Facebook, Instagram, or any of those social media sites, stop going on there for a bit. Take a break. And next is focus on your personal growth. Instead of looking outward and comparing yourself to somebody else, turn that focus inward and how you can grow as a person. So that leads right into my next point of the power of self-comparison and treating yourself with kindness and understanding and recognizing how far you have come. I remember I've been journaling all my life, but I remember when I was in high school and I would pick up an old journal from even a couple months or to a year, because you really change a lot as a kid. But I would pick up an old journal and I would read through it and I'd be like, oh my goodness, I was so immature. I can do the same thing now. 10 years from now, I'll look back on these episodes and probably be like, oh, wow, I've grown a lot since then. And that's what you want. That's a good thing. I used to get discouraged by that fact, but no, because that means I'm growing. I am growing. Of course, I was immature when I was 10. I was 10 years old. So, reframe comparisons. You can be inspired or you can be envious. And you can pick which one you want to be. I could be envious of my friends, or I could be inspired. My challenge for you guys this next week is to compare yourself with yourself. Are you a better version of yourself today than you were yesterday? I mean, we all have up and downs, but is Scarlett a better version of Scarlett than she was yesterday? I'm comparing myself with myself. I'm not comparing myself with anybody else, because I'm in competition with one person, and that one person is me. And I challenge you to only be in competition with yourself. Challenge yourself to be a better you. And I love this quote, so and this isn't my quote. You guys have all heard it before, I'm sure, but I absolutely love it. It's, if you think the grass is greener on the other side of the fence, then water your lawn. If your neighbor's garden looks greener than your own, then tend to your own. Weed it, water it, invest in it, and grow it. Before we leave, I'm going to leave you with my dear friend JJ's tagline. Thank you, JJ, for letting me use it. Is please pause and love yourself enough to stop comparing yourself to everybody else in a negative way. If you want to be inspired, be inspired. And be aware of your ripple. Thank you guys so much for spending time with me. It means the world. You guys come back every week and it's just so heartwarming. It's so heartwarming. I love you guys. Take care and we'll see you next week. All right? Bye. And that's a wrap for this episode. Thank you for listening all the way to the very end. Aw, you're the best. My website is ClassicChronicles.ca. If you want to head on over there, I have my co-hosts all listed there. If you click on their photos, it'll take you directly to their website. Go say hi to them. They would love to hear from you. Podcasters love hearing from their listeners. So go say hi. Don't be shy. And if you want to as well, there is a Buy Me a Coffee link on there, which all the proceeds I use to just pour right back into my podcast. It does cost me just a little bit to have this podcast going, and I would love to be able to support it instead of taking it out of my own pocket and maybe, take the kids for an ice cream because they don't like coffee. I love coffee though. So, all right, you guys take care and we'll see you next week. Bye.